Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Science by NaemVita. Whether you're listening at the end of a long day or simply letting your thoughts slow down, this is a place where curiosity unfolds gently. There's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to focus on. If you find your attention drifting, that's perfectly fine. Let the words become a soft background, and let your body settle into rest. Allow your breathing to soften, slow down, and become quiet, steady, and easy. I'm glad you're here. Beyond the familiar glow of the Milky Way, space opens gently outward. There is no clear boundary where our home galaxy ends and the wider universe begins. Instead, the stars thin gradually, and the bright river of light fades into something quieter and more distant. What remains is not emptiness, but scale. A widening calm that stretches far beyond what the eye can easily imagine. From this broader perspective, the Milky Way becomes just one structure among many. A single spiral, steady and slow, floating alongside countless other galaxies scattered across deep space. Each of these galaxies holds billions of stars, yet from afar they appear soft and delicate, like faint embers resting in the dark. They are not clustered tightly together. Vast distances separate them, allowing the universe to breathe. These distances are so large that light itself takes millions of years to cross them. The glow from a distant galaxy does not hurry. It travels patiently, moving through space without resistance, carrying no urgency, no signal that demands attention. By the time that light reaches us, the galaxy that released it may already have shifted slightly, continuing its slow and quiet motion. In this wider view, movement feels different. Galaxies do not race, they drift. Their paths curve gently, guided by gravity in ways that are smooth and predictable. Even interactions between galaxies unfold slowly, stretched across time scales so long that change becomes almost imperceptible. Nothing snaps or breaks. Everything bends. As the universe expands outward, individual details soften. Stars blur into hazy points. Clusters become faint gatherings of light. Structure remains, but it is subtle, layered, and calm. From a great distance, the universe appears less busy than it does from within a single galaxy. The deeper you look, the quieter it becomes. It can be comforting to notice that nothing here requires effort. Galaxies remain suspended without strain. Light continues its journey without pause. Space itself holds everything gently, offering support without needing to be seen. Even the immense scale of the cosmos feels balanced, as if it has settled naturally into this wide and open form. You may find that your thoughts begin to slow as the distances grow. There is no need to follow every idea closely. The universe does not unfold in steps or stages that must be tracked. It simply exists, layered and vast, moving at a pace that allows attention to drift freely. Beyond our galaxy, there is no single destination, no edge to approach. There is only more space, more quiet, and more time than any one moment could contain. And within that vastness, everything continues steadily, without pressure, without interruption, just as it has for billions of years. Between galaxies, space does not feel empty in the way the word is often used. It is not a gap or a missing place. Instead, it is a wide, quiet presence that stretches gently between distant islands of light. This space has its own calm character, defined not by absence, but by openness. When galaxies drift apart, what lies between them is not sudden darkness. It is a gradual thinning, where stars become fewer, then rarer still, until only the faintest glimmers remain. These regions are vast beyond everyday understanding. Distances here are measured not in thousands or millions, but in tens of millions of light years. And yet, nothing feels rushed. Space allows everything to move slowly, without resistance. In these intergalactic regions, motion becomes almost imperceptible. A galaxy may travel for millions of years and shift only slightly against the background. From a human perspective, this movement would appear completely still. Time stretches so wide that change loses its sharp edges and becomes smooth, like a long, gentle breath. There is a kind of balance in this quiet. Gravity still exists here, subtle and steady, gently shaping the paths of distant galaxies. Light still travels through these regions, though it may pass for ages without encountering anything at all. This does not make the space empty. It makes it peaceful. Nothing interrupts the journey. Nothing competes for attention. You can allow your thoughts to mirror this openness. There is no need to fill the space with ideas. Just as the universe does not rush to occupy every region with stars, your mind does not need to hold on to every thought. It can widen, soften, and rest in the spaces between. Even the faint background glow of the universe moves quietly through these regions. Soft radiation left over from the early universe drifts evenly in all directions, unchanged, steady, and calm. It does not announce itself. It simply remains, like a low, constant hum beneath everything else. In the spaces between galaxies, there are no sharp boundaries. No lines divide one region from another. Everything transitions slowly, gently, without clear edges. This makes it easy to drift, because nothing demands a decision or a direction. There is nowhere specific to go, and nothing to avoid. If your attention fades for a moment, that is perfectly natural. The universe continues without needing to be observed. Galaxies hold their courses. Light continues its long journey. Space remains wide and accommodating, offering room for everything to exist without pressure. Between galaxies, the universe shows one of its most restful qualities. Not brightness, not motion, but allowance. Space gives everything time. It gives everything distance. And in that distance, it offers a quiet stability that does not change simply because it is not being watched. You can rest here as long as you like. Nothing is waiting. Nothing is approaching. The space between galaxies remains calm, open, and unchanged, carrying the universe gently forward while allowing awareness to drift without effort. Beyond the wide spaces between galaxies, There are regions where galaxies are not entirely alone. Some exist in loose, quiet gatherings, drifting together through space as companions rather than strangers. These nearby collections are not crowded or chaotic. They are gently organized, held together by gravity in a way that feels calm and stable. In these groups, galaxies move slowly around one another, following paths that repeat over immense spans of time. Their motion is so gradual that it does not feel like travel at all. It feels more like balance. Each galaxy keeps its distance, never pressing too close, never straying too far. The space between them remains wide, allowing everything to move without tension. Our own galaxy belongs to such a gathering. It is part of a small family of galaxies that share the same region of space, drifting together quietly. Within this group, there is no central leader, no sharp hierarchy. Each galaxy follows the same underlying laws, responding gently to gravity, adjusting its path slowly over millions of years. From far away, these neighboring galaxies appear as faint shapes, soft and subdued. Their individual stars blend together into a single glow. Spiral arms and bright cores become suggestions rather than details. At this scale, the universe begins to feel less busy. Complexity fades into simplicity, and motion becomes something you sense rather than see. Nothing in these groupings moves quickly. Even when galaxies slowly change position, the change unfolds so gradually that it feels constant rather than dynamic. This kind of motion does not disturb the surrounding space. It does not ripple outward. It simply continues, steady and predictable, like a slow current beneath still water. It can be comforting to imagine this quiet companionship. Galaxies sharing space without conflict, maintaining their paths without effort. They do not compete for light or territory. They exist together, each complete on its own, yet connected by the same gentle forces. You may notice your thoughts slowing here. The idea of movement without urgency allows attention to soften. There is no need to follow each galaxy or keep track of positions. The universe does not require careful watching. It moves whether it is noticed or not. In these nearby galactic neighborhoods, time stretches wide and smooth. Millions of years pass without disruption. Light continues its patient journey. Gravity maintains its quiet influence. Everything remains supported, steady, and calm. If your awareness drifts, that is perfectly fine. These galaxies will still be here, holding their slow paths through space. Nothing changes suddenly. Nothing needs intervention. The universe, even at this scale, remains peaceful, balanced, and unhurried, offering a steady rhythm that allows the mind to rest naturally. As galaxies drift through space, light becomes the quiet link between them. It does not rush or hesitate. It moves steadily, crossing vast distances with calm consistency. Every point of light you see in the deep universe has traveled for a very long time, arriving gently without announcing its journey. In the wide cosmos beyond our galaxy, light often travels for millions, even billions of years before reaching another place. During that time, nothing interrupts it. There is no friction, no resistance, no sound. Light simply continues, carrying a soft record of where it began. By the time it arrives, the universe it describes may already have shifted slightly, continuing its slow unfolding. This long travel smooths everything it touches. Bright events fade into gentle glows. Sharp details soften into distant shapes. From far away, even the most active galaxies appear calm and settled. Their light arrives diluted by distance, transformed into something quiet and reassuring. It can be restful to think of light as patient rather than fast. Although it is the quickest thing in the universe, it never hurries. It follows the same steady pace everywhere, never speeding up, never slowing down. This consistency brings a sense of order to the vastness, a dependable rhythm that does not change. As light moves through deep space, it passes through regions almost completely empty. It may travel for millions of years without encountering a single atom. These journeys are uninterrupted, smooth, and effortless. Nothing pulls at the light. Nothing pushes it aside. Space simply allows it to pass. In this way, the universe feels very accommodating. It does not crowd or block what moves through it. It offers long corridors of stillness where light can drift freely. This openness makes everything feel less dense, less demanding, and easier to rest within. You do not need to follow the path of any single beam of light. You can let the idea remain soft and distant. The important part is not where the light came from or how long it traveled, but the sense of continuity it represents. Something steady moving through an immense calm. If your attention begins to wander, that is perfectly natural. Light will continue its journey whether it is noticed or not. Galaxies will continue to glow. Space will continue to hold everything quietly in place. In the deep cosmos, light becomes less about illumination and more about connection. A gentle thread linking distant places across time and space, reminding us that even across the widest distances, the universe remains softly joined together, moving patiently, without urgency, without strain. When we look far beyond our own galaxy, we are not only looking across space, but also across time. Distance in the universe carries a quiet memory. The farther away something is, the longer its light has been traveling, and the older the moment we are gently observing. This does not make the universe feel distant or unreachable. Instead, it makes it feel layered, calm, and deeply settled. Light leaving a distant galaxy began its journey long before Earth looked the way it does now. It set out when continents were arranged differently, when the night sky held a slightly different pattern of stars. During that long passage, nothing hurried it along. It moved steadily, second by second, year by year, crossing a universe that was already vast and already quiet. Because of this, looking outward is like looking through softened layers of history. Nearby galaxies show us a more recent universe. Farther ones reveal earlier stages, when structures were younger and space was still organizing itself. These changes are not dramatic or abrupt. They are gentle shifts, unfolding so slowly that they feel almost timeless. There is no need to picture specific moments or events. You can let the idea remain broad and unsharpened. The important feeling is that time in the universe does not rush forward. It spreads outward, allowing everything to change gradually without pressure. The past does not disappear. It lingers softly in the light that continues to arrive. From this perspective, the universe feels patient. It does not replace one moment with another in a sudden way. Instead, moments overlap. Light from different ages arrives together, blending into a calm, continuous glow. The deep cosmos holds many times at once, layered gently like slow-moving clouds. You may notice that thinking about time this way allows the mind to loosen its grip on the present moment. There is no urgency to stay focused. Nothing important depends on attention. Just as the universe carries its past quietly forward, you can allow thoughts to come and go without holding on to them. Even the oldest light still travels calmly. It does not grow tired. It does not fade from effort. Space supports its movement effortlessly, just as it supports galaxies, clusters, and the wide gaps between them. Everything continues because the universe allows it to continue without demand. If your awareness drifts, that is completely fine. Time in the cosmos does not move in steps that must be followed. It flows evenly, offering long stretches where nothing changes in a noticeable way. You can rest within that steadiness. Looking outward into deep space is also looking into a quiet past that remains present. Not as a memory to recall, but as a gentle presence, still arriving, still glowing, still moving through a universe that has always preferred slow change over sudden motion. In that slow unfolding, there is plenty of room to rest. Far beyond individual galaxies, there are regions where many of them gather together in wide, unhurried assemblies. These are not crowded places. They are expansive, loosely arranged, and calm. Galaxies in these regions are held together gently by gravity, forming structures that feel stable rather than busy. In these large groupings, galaxies follow slow, curved paths around one another. Their motion is so gradual that it does not interrupt the stillness of space. Millions of years pass as they drift slightly, maintaining their distance, never colliding abruptly. Gravity works quietly here, not as a force of tension, but as a steady presence that keeps everything balanced. From a distance, these gatherings appear as soft concentrations of light. Individual galaxies blend into a gentle glow, their details smoothing into something unified and simple. The structure remains, but it is subtle. Nothing stands out sharply. Everything feels evenly distributed, as if the universe has arranged these regions to avoid strain. It can be reassuring to imagine gravity acting without effort. There are no sudden pulls or violent changes. Galaxies respond slowly, adjusting their paths over immense spans of time. This kind of motion feels more like settling than movement. more like rest than action. These large galactic assemblies also exist within wide spaces. Between them lie vast regions where light is sparse and motion is minimal. The universe does not fill every area equally. It allows room, creating a rhythm of gathering and openness that repeats on the largest scales. You do not need to remember names or shapes. The sense of order is enough. These groupings show that even on the grandest scales, the universe prefers gentle organization over chaos. Everything has space. Everything has time. As you think about these quiet structures, you may notice your own thoughts slowing to match them. There is no need to follow each galaxy or imagine precise positions. The universe does not require careful tracking. It continues whether or not it is observed. If your attention drifts, that is perfectly natural. These immense structures change so slowly that nothing is missed. Gravity remains steady. Light continues to travel. The universe holds its form without effort. In these calm gatherings of galaxies, the cosmos shows one of its most restful qualities: balance without tension, structure without urgency, a wide, stable arrangement that allows everything within it to exist quietly, supported by forces that work best when they are almost unnoticed. Beyond the gentle gatherings of galaxy clusters, the universe continues to open outward into even larger patterns. These patterns are not sharp or rigid. They are broad, flowing arrangements that stretch across immense distances, connecting clusters together in a quiet, repeating order. At this scale, the universe feels less like a collection of objects and more like a softly woven structure. These immense formations extend for hundreds of millions of light years. Galaxies and clusters are not placed randomly. They tend to follow faint paths, drifting along invisible lines shaped by gravity over enormous spans of time. The motion here is so slow that it feels almost timeless. Nothing rushes to change position. Everything settles gradually into place. From far away, these structures appear delicate rather than massive. Long strands of light curve gently through space, linking distant regions together. Between them lie wide-open areas where very little happens. This balance between connection and openness gives the universe a steady rhythm, one that repeats calmly across the largest scales. There is comfort in this repetition. Patterns form, stretch, and remain. They do not demand attention. They do not compete with one another. They simply exist, held in place by forces that work quietly and consistently. Even gravity, at this scale, feels softened, guiding motion rather than forcing it. It is easy here to let details fade. Individual galaxies become points. Clusters blend into hazy concentrations. What remains is the sense of structure itself, wide and calm, unfolding without effort. The universe does not feel crowded. It feels spacious and well-balanced. You may notice that thinking about such large patterns naturally slows the mind. When change happens over hundreds of millions of years, there is no pressure to keep track of it. Nothing important depends on immediate awareness. The universe continues its slow shaping, whether it is noticed or not. If your thoughts drift, that is perfectly fine. These patterns do not require focus. They are stable enough to exist without observation. Space holds them gently, allowing everything to remain connected without strain. At this scale, the universe reveals a quiet kind of order. Not one built from sharp edges or rigid rules, but one shaped by patience and time. Large structures form, stretch, and persist, creating a calm framework that supports everything within it. In these vast arrangements, the cosmos feels settled. There is no sense of urgency or direction, only a broad, steady structure, slowly unfolding and resting in place, offering a deep sense of continuity that allows both space and awareness to relax together. As these immense patterns stretch across the universe, they begin to resemble something softly connected rather than scattered. Galaxies and clusters trace faint paths through space, forming what can feel like a quiet network. This structure is not solid or fixed. It is gentle, flexible, and calm, shaped slowly over time by gravity's steady influence. These connections are subtle. They are not lines you could point to easily. Instead, they are regions where matter is slightly more concentrated, guiding galaxies along slow, predictable routes. Over billions of years, these paths have taken shape, not through force, but through patience. Matter gathered where it was gently encouraged to stay, and wide spaces remained where little arrived. Between these faint connections lie vast regions of stillness. These open areas are not failures of structure. They are an essential part of balance. They give the universe room to breathe, allowing patterns to exist without becoming crowded. The result is a cosmos that feels spacious and well-supported, with plenty of quiet between its gentle threads. At this scale, nothing feels isolated. Even the most distant galaxies are part of a larger arrangement, connected indirectly through these slow-forming paths. Yet these connections do not pull or strain. They simply guide, offering a sense of belonging without pressure. It can be comforting to rest in this idea. A universe where everything is connected, but nothing is forced. Where space allows both closeness and distance to exist together. You do not need to imagine every detail. The feeling of calm connection is enough. As you consider these vast networks, your attention does not need to stay sharp. The universe does not reveal itself all at once. It unfolds gently, allowing understanding to drift in and out. Nothing important depends on constant focus. If your thoughts soften or wander, that mirrors the structure itself. Long stretches of quiet interrupted by faint connections, then returning to stillness. This rhythm repeats naturally, without effort. These subtle cosmic threads have been in place for most of the universe's history. They change slowly, almost imperceptibly. Galaxies continue to move along them. Light continues to travel through them, and space continues to hold everything together quietly. In this wide, connected calm, the universe feels less like a place of motion and more like a steady presence, a vast, gentle structure that supports everything within it, allowing both matter and awareness to settle into a slow, restful state. Beyond the faint threads that connect galaxies, there are regions where almost nothing gathers at all. These are the vast cosmic voids, immense stretches of space where stars are rare and galaxies are few. They are not gaps left behind by mistake. They are a natural part of the universe's structure, shaped slowly and calmly over time. In these regions, space feels especially open. Distances widen and light becomes scarce. A single galaxy may be separated from its nearest neighbor by tens of millions of light years. And yet, nothing feels missing. These voids are not empty in a harsh way. They are spacious, quiet, and balanced, offering the universe places to rest between its more active regions. Movement here is almost impossible to notice. Galaxies near the edges of these voids drift gradually outward, responding gently to the pull of denser regions elsewhere. Inside the voids themselves, change is minimal. Time passes without visible motion, creating an environment of deep stillness. It can be soothing to imagine such a place, a region where nothing presses in, where there is no crowding, no urgency, no demand for attention. The universe allows these vast, quiet areas to exist simply because there is no need for everything to be filled. Even light passing through these voids does so uninterrupted. It travels for millions of years without encountering much at all. This long, unbroken journey softens whatever it carries, turning distant sources into faint, gentle glows by the time they reach another place. You may notice that thinking about such wide emptiness allows your own thoughts to slow. There is no detail to track, no pattern to follow closely, just space, open and steady, existing without effort. If your awareness drifts here, that is perfectly natural. These voids do not change suddenly. Nothing important happens quickly within them. They remain calm and expansive, regardless of whether they are observed. The universe relies on these quiet regions just as much as it relies on its galaxies and clusters. They provide balance, preventing everything from becoming too dense or too active. They are part of what makes the cosmos feel gentle rather than overwhelming. In the vast cosmic voids, the universe shows one of its most restful expressions. Space without pressure, time without urgency. An open stillness that allows everything else to exist comfortably around it, offering a deep sense of calm where both matter and attention can fully relax. Within the deep cosmos, temperature takes on a meaning very different from everyday experience. Far from stars and galaxies, space settles into an even, quiet cold. This cold is not sharp or biting. It is steady and calm, a natural state that remains unchanged for immense stretches of time. In most regions of deep space, temperatures hover just a few degrees above absolute stillness. This does not create discomfort or tension. Instead, it reflects balance. With so little matter to absorb or release energy, space remains gently uniform, neither warming nor cooling in any noticeable way. Everything rests at nearly the same quiet level. This steady cold allows the universe to remain stable. Without sudden shifts in temperature, There are no rapid reactions or bursts of activity. Change happens slowly, if at all. Energy moves gradually, spreading thinly across vast distances, smoothing itself into an even calm. Light traveling through these regions does not warm space in the way sunlight warms Earth. It passes through gently, barely interacting, leaving the surrounding environment unchanged. Space does not respond with motion or noise. It simply allows the light to continue on its long journey. It can be comforting to imagine a place where conditions remain constant for billions of years. No cycles of heating and cooling, no extremes. Just a steady background that supports everything else without drawing attention to itself. As you think about this quiet temperature, your own sense of pace may soften. There is no urgency here. Nothing speeds up or slows down suddenly. The universe holds itself in a state of calm equilibrium, where energy and matter rest together peacefully. If your thoughts drift, that fits naturally with this environment. Deep space does not require alertness. It does not demand response. It exists comfortably, whether it is noticed or not. Even the faint background warmth left over from the early universe spreads evenly through space, unchanged and gentle. It does not concentrate or fluctuate. It simply remains, a soft reminder of continuity beneath everything else. In this steady cold, the universe reveals another aspect of its calm nature. A preference for balance over extremes. A quiet consistency that allows time to pass without disruption. Space becomes a place not of harsh emptiness, but of stable rest, offering an atmosphere where both matter and awareness can settle into stillness together. Even in the deepest regions of space, nothing is completely motionless. Galaxies, clusters, and faint clouds of matter continue to move, but their motion is so slow and smooth that it feels almost like stillness. There is no sound to accompany this movement, no friction, no disturbance. Motion in the universe happens quietly. Galaxies rotate at measured, unhurried rates. Their stars follow gentle paths around calm centers, completing a single rotation over hundreds of millions of years. From a distance, this motion blends into a soft glow, giving no sense of speed or urgency. Everything moves, but nothing rushes. Between galaxies, matter drifts gradually, guided by gravity's steady pull. These movements are subtle enough that they do not ripple through space. There are no waves or vibrations traveling outward. Space remains calm, allowing motion to unfold without creating noise or tension. It can be soothing to think of movement without sound. On Earth, motion is often accompanied by noise, effort, and change. In the cosmos, movement is effortless. Space does not resist. There is nothing to push against. Everything glides. This quiet motion continues regardless of attention. Galaxies rotate whether they are observed or not. Matter shifts slowly whether it is noticed or not. The universe does not pause or accelerate based on awareness. It simply continues at its steady pace. You may find that imagining such gentle motion allows your own thoughts to slow. There is no need to follow paths or track directions. Motion here is predictable and calm, offering no surprises. It invites rest rather than focus. If your attention drifts, that is perfectly natural. Motion in the deep cosmos does not demand observation. Nothing important will be missed. Change happens so gradually that it remains present even when awareness fades. Over vast spans of time, these quiet movements shape the universe's structure. Yet they do so without urgency or disruption. Everything remains supported, guided by forces that act gently and consistently. In this soundless motion, the universe shows that movement does not have to be energetic or dramatic to be meaningful. It can be slow, smooth, and calm, unfolding silently through space, offering a steady rhythm that allows both the cosmos and the mind to rest together. Across the widest scales of space, the universe continues to change in a very gentle way. It is not changing through sudden movement or dramatic shifts, but through a slow and even stretching. Space itself gradually opens outward, creating more distance between galaxies without pulling or pushing in any noticeable way. This expansion happens quietly, without sound, without effort. There is no central point where this stretching begins, no edge where it stops. Every region of space participates equally, allowing distances to increase while relationships remain calm and balanced. Galaxies do not feel this expansion as motion. From their perspective, everything around them remains steady, unfolding so slowly that it blends into stillness. This gradual expansion does not create tension. It does not tear structures apart. Gravity continues to hold galaxies and clusters together locally, while space between these structures gently grows. The universe balances closeness and distance at the same time, allowing both to exist without conflict. It can be reassuring to imagine space expanding without urgency. Nothing is being forced to move faster. Nothing is being left behind. Change happens evenly, almost imperceptibly, over billions of years. The universe prefers patience over speed. Light continues to travel through this expanding space without difficulty. Its journey remains smooth and uninterrupted. Space accommodates movement naturally, offering more room without creating resistance or strain. As you think about this slow expansion, your sense of time may soften. There is no moment to anticipate, no event approaching. Expansion does not arrive or finish. It simply continues, steady and quiet, allowing everything within it to exist comfortably. If your thoughts drift here, that fits perfectly. Expansion does not require attention. It does not announce itself. The universe stretches whether it is observed or not, maintaining its calm rhythm regardless of awareness. Even the most distant galaxies participate in this process gently. They move farther apart, not because they are pushed, but because space between them grows. This distinction keeps everything feeling smooth and untroubled. In this slow unfolding, the universe reveals another layer of its calm nature. Change without disruption, motion without urgency, a continuous widening that offers more space for everything to rest, allowing both matter and awareness to settle into a deep, unhurried calm. Much of what shapes the deep universe cannot be seen directly. Beneath the soft glow of galaxies and the wide openness of space, there is a subtle structure that quietly supports everything. This unseen presence does not announce itself or draw attention. It simply exists, steady and reliable, helping the universe hold its form over immense spans of time. Galaxies move as they do because something gently guides them. Their stars remain bound together, rotating smoothly, not because of what is visible alone, but because of an underlying support that extends far beyond their light. This support does not pull sharply or suddenly. It acts gradually, shaping motion without disturbance. You can think of it as a quiet framework, not rigid or fixed, but soft and encompassing, allowing galaxies to settle into their paths naturally. It does not interfere or interrupt. It simply provides balance, ensuring that motion remains slow and predictable rather than chaotic. This unseen structure stretches across vast distances, connecting regions of space without forcing them together. Galaxies respond to it gently, following curves that feel smooth and unhurried. Nothing jerks or accelerates unexpectedly. Everything adjusts over long periods, with plenty of time to settle. It can be comforting to know that even when something cannot be seen, it can still offer support. The universe does not rely only on what is visible. It is held together by influences that work quietly in the background, unnoticed but essential. As you rest with this idea, there is no need to picture details or mechanisms. The feeling of stability is enough. Just as you do not need to see gravity to feel grounded, the universe does not need visible structure to remain balanced. If your thoughts begin to wander, that mirrors this unseen presence perfectly. It works without observation. It remains steady, whether it is noticed or not. Galaxies continue their slow motion. Light continues its long journey, and space continues to expand calmly. This gentle support allows the universe to feel settled rather than fragile. Nothing is on the verge of collapse. Nothing needs constant correction. Everything is held in place by influences that act slowly and consistently. In this quiet scaffolding of the cosmos, the universe shows that stability does not require visibility. It can exist softly beneath the surface, offering steady support while allowing everything above it to move, drift, and rest in peace. Alongside the gentle framework that supports galaxies, there is another influence that shapes the universe in a slow and even way. This influence does not pull things together. Instead, it encourages space itself to open gradually, allowing distances to grow without strain or disruption. This process does not happen in bursts or waves. It unfolds smoothly, everywhere at once, with no preferred direction. Galaxies do not feel a sudden push. They simply find that, over immense spans of time, the space between them becomes wider. This widening is so gradual that it blends naturally into the background of the universe. Nothing resists this change. Gravity continues to hold local structures together, while the wider universe stretches gently around them. These two influences coexist calmly, each acting where it belongs, creating a balance that keeps the cosmos both stable and open. It can be reassuring to think of change happening without urgency. There is no rush toward an outcome, no moment when something must happen. The universe allows this slow opening to continue quietly without drawing attention to itself. Light moves through this expanding space without difficulty. Its journey remains smooth and uninterrupted. Space accommodates movement naturally, offering more room without tension. Everything continues at a pace that does not disturb the overall calm. As you reflect on this gentle change, there is no need to stay focused. The universe does not require monitoring. It expands whether it is noticed or not, maintaining the same steady rhythm over billions of years. If your awareness drifts, that fits naturally here. This gradual opening does not create events to track or milestones to remember. It simply continues, even and unremarkable, allowing everything within the universe to remain at ease. Over long periods, this influence shapes the future of the cosmos. Yet it does so quietly, without drama or conflict. Change happens in the background, leaving the surface calm and undisturbed. In this slow widening, the universe reveals another form of peace, a change that does not demand attention, a motion that feels almost like rest. Space itself becomes more open, more spacious, offering a gentle expansion where both matter and awareness can relax without effort. As the universe continues its quiet expansion, time stretches alongside space, unfolding in long, unbroken spans. In the deep cosmos, time is not measured by days or years, but by ages so vast that change becomes almost imperceptible. Billions of years pass gently, without marking their presence in any dramatic way. Stars are born, shine, and slowly fade over these immense intervals. Yet even these life cycles feel calm when viewed from afar. A star may spend most of its existence in a steady state, glowing quietly for billions of years before changing gradually. Nothing happens all at once. Everything eases into its next form. Galaxies, too, reflect this deep time. Their shapes evolve slowly, adjusting over countless rotations. Spiral arms drift and soften. Bright regions grow dimmer as star formation gradually settles. These changes do not feel like endings. They feel like gentle transitions, stretched across time so wide that no single moment stands out. It can be restful to imagine time behaving this way. There is no pressure to keep up, no sense that something important is about to happen. The universe allows every process to take as long as it needs, without expectation or urgency. Light itself becomes a quiet measure of time. Each beam carries the imprint of when it began, arriving softly after journeys lasting millions or billions of years. Different ages of the universe blend together in this steady arrival, creating a calm continuity rather than a sequence of events. As you rest with this idea, your own sense of time may loosen. Moments do not need to be counted or ordered. Just as the universe holds many ages at once, you can allow thoughts to come and go without noticing how long they stay. If your attention drifts, That mirrors the nature of deep time perfectly. Nothing is lost. Everything continues. The universe does not require awareness to keep moving forward at its gentle pace. Over these long ages, activity gradually slows. Energy spreads thinly across space. Motion becomes softer, less pronounced. The universe settles into maturity, preferring calm persistence over rapid change. In this deep time, there is a quiet reassurance. Change happens, but it happens slowly enough to feel peaceful. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. The universe moves forward with patience, offering a wide and steady flow of time in which both space and awareness can rest without effort. As time stretches across the universe, individual details begin to soften. Stars that once felt close and distinct fade into gentle points of light when seen from far away. Their brightness diminishes with distance, not suddenly, but gradually, until each one becomes a quiet presence rather than a focal point. From this wider view, stars no longer demand attention. They blend together, forming faint patterns and soft glows rather than sharp outlines. Entire regions of the universe appear as calm fields of light, evenly scattered and unhurried. Nothing stands out strongly. Everything shares the same gentle tone. This softening has a calming effect. When details fade, the mind does not need to work to separate or identify them. The universe becomes simpler, less crowded, and easier to rest within. Complexity gives way to balance, and motion becomes something that is felt rather than seen. Light traveling from these distant stars arrives after long journeys, already mellowed by time and space. By the time it reaches another place, it carries no sharp edges. It has been smoothed into a quiet glow, offering illumination without intensity. It can be comforting to imagine a universe where brightness does not overwhelm, where light exists gently, supporting visibility without demanding focus. This is the natural state of deep space, where nothing competes for attention, and everything shares the same calm presence. As you reflect on these distant stars, there is no need to hold on to any one image. You can allow your attention to drift across the field of light, or to rest in the darkness between. Both are equally stable and calm. If your thoughts wander here, that is perfectly natural. These distant points of light do not change quickly. Nothing important happens suddenly. The universe remains steady, whether it is observed or not. In this softened view, the cosmos feels less like a collection of separate objects and more like a continuous background. A wide, even glow spread gently across space, offering a sense of quiet unity. As stars fade into points and patterns dissolve into calm light, the universe invites awareness to do the same, to soften, to widen, and to rest without needing to focus, allowing both space and attention to settle into a peaceful, unhurried stillness. Over very long periods of time, galaxies begin to drift farther apart from one another. This separation does not happen suddenly, and it does not feel like loss or disconnection. It unfolds gradually, so slowly that it blends into the background of the universe, becoming part of its natural rhythm. From within any single galaxy, this change is almost impossible to notice. The stars continue their calm rotations. Local structures remain intact and stable. It is only when viewed across immense distances and long spans of time that this gentle separation becomes apparent. Space between galaxies quietly grows, offering more openness without creating strain. This drifting apart does not disturb the balance of the cosmos. Gravity still holds galaxies together internally, keeping stars bound in smooth, predictable paths. What changes is the space between these island systems of light. It expands softly, allowing galaxies to move away from one another without effort or resistance. It can be soothing to imagine separation without conflict. On human scales, distance often implies disruption or loss. In the universe, distance is simply space being offered. Nothing is being taken away. Nothing is breaking apart. There is only a gradual widening that allows everything to exist comfortably in its own place. Light continues to travel between galaxies even as distances increase. Its journey becomes longer, but no more difficult. Space accommodates this change naturally, providing room for motion without altering its calm character. Everything continues at the same steady pace. As you rest with this idea, you may notice your own thoughts loosening. There is no need to hold on to any particular point. Just as galaxies do not cling to one another, attention can drift gently without losing its sense of stability. If your awareness fades here, that is perfectly fine. These changes occur over such long timescales that nothing important is missed. The universe continues its quiet unfolding regardless of observation. In this slow drifting, the cosmos shows another expression of calm. Change without disruption. Distance without isolation. A gentle separation that feels natural and balanced, offering more space, more quiet, and more room for everything to remain at ease as time continues to flow. As galaxies slowly drift farther apart, the universe itself begins to feel quieter. Not suddenly, and not in a way that signals an ending, but through a gentle settling. Over immense spans of time, fewer new stars are formed, and the bright activity that once filled galaxies gradually softens into a calmer glow. This change does not arrive all at once. It unfolds evenly across the cosmos, so slowly that it feels almost timeless. Regions that were once active continue to shine gently, while new light appears less frequently. The universe does not lose its light. It simply becomes more subtle, more evenly spread, and less intense. In this quieter phase, motion becomes even harder to notice. Galaxies continue their slow rotations. Stars maintain their steady paths. Nothing stops. Everything continues, but at a pace that feels increasingly restful. Energy spreads thinly across vast distances, smoothing sharp contrasts into gentle balance. It can be comforting to imagine a universe that gradually chooses calm over activity. Not because something has failed, but because everything has had time to settle. The cosmos does not rush to replace what fades. It allows change to happen naturally, without urgency or demand. Light that remains continues to travel patiently through space. Its journeys grow longer, its encounters fewer. By the time it reaches distant regions, it arrives softened by distance and time, carrying a quiet presence rather than brightness. As you reflect on this gradual quieting, your own sense of pace may soften as well. There is no moment to anticipate, no sudden shift to prepare for. Change happens so slowly that it feels more like rest than movement. If your thoughts drift here, that is perfectly natural. This quieter universe does not require attention. It does not signal when something important occurs. Everything continues steadily, regardless of observation. In this gentle settling, the universe shows another aspect of its calm nature, a preference for continuity over excitement, a slow easing into stillness that does not erase what came before, but allows everything to remain present in a softer form. As activity fades into quiet persistence, the cosmos offers a deep reassurance. Nothing is rushing toward an end. Nothing needs to be fixed or renewed. The universe continues calmly, becoming quieter not through loss, but through balance, offering a wide, steady calm where both space and awareness can rest together. As the universe grows quieter, space itself begins to feel more open. With fewer bright regions and less activity, darkness becomes more present, not as an absence, but as spaciousness. The deep cosmos offers wider stretches where light is rare and distances feel even larger, creating an environment that is calm and unpressured. In these later stages, galaxies appear more isolated from one another, separated by vast reaches of space. Yet this isolation does not feel lonely. Each galaxy remains complete within itself, continuing its slow internal motion while resting within an ever-expanding backdrop of stillness. Nothing is taken away. Space simply provides more room. Light that remains becomes precious in a gentle way. Points of brightness stand quietly against wide darkness, not competing, not overwhelming. This balance between light and dark feels natural, allowing both to exist without one dominating the other. It can be soothing to imagine a universe where darkness is not something to avoid, but something that supports rest. Darkness allows the mind to release detail, to soften focus, and to settle into calm awareness. In the cosmos, darkness does not threaten structure. It preserves it. As distances grow, interactions between distant regions become rare. Light travels longer paths. Motion becomes more subtle. Nothing feels crowded or urgent. The universe settles into a wide, open state where change happens gently and without disturbance. If your thoughts drift here, that fits perfectly. In such a spacious environment, attention does not need to stay sharp. The universe does not require monitoring. Everything remains stable, whether it is observed or not. This increase in space and quiet does not mean the universe is emptying. It means it is becoming more evenly distributed, allowing energy and matter to spread out calmly. Balance replaces intensity. Openness replaces activity. In this wide, dark calm, the cosmos reveals a deep sense of rest, a place where light exists softly within vast darkness, and where space itself offers support through openness rather than density. As light becomes rarer and space more abundant, the universe invites awareness to follow the same path, to loosen its focus, to rest in openness, and to find comfort in the gentle balance between presence and quiet that defines the deep cosmos. As the universe continues along this calm trajectory, thoughts about the far future become softer and less defined. There is no single moment ahead that everything moves toward. Instead, the cosmos eases forward gradually into a state that feels increasingly stable and quiet. The future does not arrive suddenly. It unfolds slowly, giving everything time to settle. In this distant future, familiar structures remain, but they change very gently. Galaxies continue their slow rotations. Stars that still shine do so steadily, without urgency. New activity becomes rare, not because something has gone wrong, but because the universe has found a balanced rhythm that requires little adjustment. Space grows wider, and distances stretch comfortably. Regions that once interacted frequently now rest far apart, connected only by the patient travel of light. These long journeys do not strain the universe. They fit naturally within its expanding calm, allowing motion and stillness to coexist without conflict. It can be restful to imagine a future without deadlines or turning points. Nothing needs to happen next. The universe does not move toward an event. It simply continues, moment after moment, age after age, maintaining its quiet presence. Light that remains continues to drift across space, softer than before, carrying gentle reminders of earlier times. Even as brightness fades, continuity remains. The universe does not lose its sense of order. It becomes simpler, more spacious, and easier to rest within. As you reflect on this distant future, there is no need to form clear images. The idea itself can remain blurred and open. The cosmos does not require definition to exist. Its calm does not depend on being understood. If your awareness drifts here, that is completely natural. The far future of the universe unfolds so slowly that attention is never required to keep up. Nothing important depends on observation. In this gentle continuation, the universe offers a final reassurance. Change does not have to be dramatic to be meaningful. The cosmos moves forward by settling, by widening, and by growing quieter, creating a future that feels less like an ending and more like a deep, sustained rest where both space and awareness can remain at ease. As the universe settles into this wide and quiet future, stillness begins to feel less like an absence and more like its natural state. Motion becomes rare, light becomes faint, and change stretches so far across time that it almost disappears into continuity. What remains is not emptiness, but stability. In this state, nothing feels unfinished. Galaxies continue their slow internal movements, stars that remain keep shining gently, and space itself holds everything without strain. The universe does not seek to add or remove anything. It rests in what it already is, balanced and complete. stillness here does not mean that nothing exists. It means that existence no longer needs to assert itself. There is no competition for space or energy. Everything that remains has room to remain. The cosmos feels settled, as if it has found a form that requires no correction. It can be comforting to think of stillness as supportive rather than empty. On the largest scales, stillness allows structures to endure. It gives time room to flow without interruption. It creates an environment where nothing needs to hurry or react. As you rest with this idea, your own awareness may begin to mirror it. Thoughts can slow without needing to stop. Attention can soften without needing to disappear. Just as the universe remains present in stillness, awareness can remain present without effort. If your mind drifts, that fits naturally here. In a universe defined by stillness, nothing depends on focus. Nothing changes suddenly. Everything remains gently as it is, regardless of observation. This quiet state does not mark an ending. It is simply a continuation, stretched across time so vast that it feels steady and unchanging. The universe does not conclude. It rests. In this resting state, the cosmos offers a deep sense of reassurance. Stability does not require motion. Presence does not require activity. Everything that exists is supported simply by being allowed to exist. As stillness becomes the prevailing condition, both space and awareness find common ground. A calm persistence, a steady presence, a quiet state where nothing is missing, nothing is expected, and everything is gently held, allowing rest to deepen without effort. Within this vast and settled universe, it becomes easier to sense a quiet sense of belonging. Not belonging to a place or a moment, but belonging within a structure that is wide, stable, and gently supportive. The cosmos does not single out any one point as special. Every region exists within the same calm framework, held together without preference or demand. From this perspective, scale no longer feels overwhelming. Immensity becomes comforting rather than intimidating. Knowing that space extends far beyond what can be seen does not create distance. It creates assurance. Everything has room. Nothing is crowded. The universe is large enough to hold all motion, all light, and all quiet without strain. It can be reassuring to imagine existing within such a structure. Nothing presses in. Nothing threatens balance. The same steady laws apply everywhere, offering consistency across distances too large to measure easily. The universe feels reliable, not because it is static, but because it changes so slowly that stability remains. As you rest with this idea, there is no need to locate yourself precisely. You do not need coordinates or direction. Simply being part of this vast arrangement is enough. The universe does not require awareness to grant inclusion. Everything already belongs. If your thoughts drift here, that mirrors this sense of quiet inclusion. There is no need to hold on to a center or a focus. Just as space does not insist on boundaries, attention can soften and widen naturally. Light continues to move through this structure gently, connecting distant regions without urgency. gravity continues its quiet work, shaping motion without disturbance. Time continues to flow evenly, without calling attention to itself. Everything participates without effort. In this calm framework, the universe feels less like a place full of events and more like a steady presence, a background that remains constant while details come and go, a structure that does not ask for interaction to remain supportive. As awareness rests within this vast cosmic setting, it becomes easier to let go of scale and distance. What remains is a sense of being quietly held within something much larger, something patient and unchanging enough to allow rest to deepen, knowing that everything continues gently, exactly as it should. As distance stretches farther than the mind can easily follow, awareness naturally begins to soften. In the deep cosmos, there is no need to hold a fixed point of attention. Space does not offer clear edges or destinations. It opens outward evenly, allowing focus to drift without becoming lost. At these immense scales, the universe does not reveal itself through detail. It reveals itself through feeling, a sense of vastness, a sense of calm continuity. Galaxies and light fade into the background, not disappearing, but becoming part of a wider presence that no longer needs to be observed closely. This drifting of awareness mirrors the structure of the cosmos itself. Long stretches of quiet space, interrupted only occasionally by faint points of light, then returning again to stillness. Nothing demands sustained focus. Nothing pulls attention sharply in one direction. It can be restful to allow the mind to follow this pattern, to notice a thought arise gently, then dissolve back into openness. Just as light travels long distances before reaching anything at all, thoughts can move without needing to arrive anywhere specific. In the deep universe, nothing insists on being noticed. Galaxies continue their slow motion. Space continues to expand. Time continues to flow evenly. All of it happens whether or not it is being followed moment by moment. This makes drifting not a failure of attention, but a natural response. If your awareness fades in and out, that is exactly in rhythm with the cosmos. The universe itself does not maintain constant activity. It alternates between structure and openness, between light and darkness, between motion and rest. There is no risk in letting go here. Nothing important depends on staying alert. The universe does not move faster when attention drops. It remains steady, unchanged, offering the same calm presence regardless of awareness. As thoughts loosen and distance becomes abstract, the mind may feel less separate from the space it is considering. Boundaries soften. The distinction between observer and vastness becomes less clear, replaced by a sense of quiet inclusion. In this gentle drifting, awareness does not disappear. It simply becomes lighter, less defined, more spacious. Just as the deep cosmos holds everything without effort, attention can rest within that same openness, moving freely, settling where it will, supported by a universe that does not require anything in return. As everything settles into this wide and gentle calm, there is nothing left to follow and nowhere left to go. The deep cosmos remains exactly as it is, vast, steady, and unhurried. Space stretches quietly in every direction, holding light, matter, and time without effort. At this point, the universe no longer feels distant or complex. It feels familiar in its stillness. Galaxies continue their slow paths far away. Stars shine softly where they remain, and darkness fills the wide spaces between without weight or meaning. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls back. Everything simply rests within the same calm structure. Time here does not feel like a sequence. It feels like a gentle presence, allowing moments to exist without being counted. The universe does not move toward anything. It remains, unfolding so slowly that change blends into continuity. This makes it easy to let awareness settle without needing to stay alert. You do not need to picture anything clearly now. The details have softened for a reason. Just as distant stars blur into quiet light, thoughts can blur into a gentle background. Attention can loosen its shape, resting without focus, without effort. If awareness fades completely for a while, that is perfectly natural. The universe does not require observation to continue. It remains calm and unchanged, whether it is noticed or not. Nothing important is missed. Nothing needs to be remembered. In this final resting state, the cosmos offers one last reassurance. There is enough space for everything, enough time for everything. Nothing is rushed, and nothing is unfinished. The universe continues quietly, just as it always has. As space remains open and still, and time flows evenly without direction, awareness can settle fully into rest, supported by a vast, steady presence that asks for nothing, offers nothing urgent, and allows everything to simply be. The deep cosmos remains wide and calm, holding all motion, all light, and all silence together. And within that calm, rest comes naturally, without effort, without expectation, as everything continues exactly as it should.